Mayor and Aldermen. My name is Bobby Thompson. I live on 834 J. Evans Avenue. And I stand in opposition to this. Not only because I know it's wrong, because, you know, some people have never drank anything. Some have. Some, the ones that have, know what alcohol can do to a person's life. My concern, deepest concern, is for our citizens of this city that we live in. And not only our city, but our county also. And we have dear children. We say that they belong to us. But if we're a people that stand for what's right, they all belong to us. We watch over to protect our children and not put anything before them to harm or to hurt, but do all that we can in our prayers, in our love, in our teaching our children to stay away from things that will harm and take their lives. A lot of times we're not successful in that. We lose a lot of young lives to different things. I stand opposed to this because it's not about the dollar to me. Our city, I think, is in pretty good shape. I think when we let the dollar overrule our moral needs and our lives, then we're in piddling business. We need to stand up, not only for what's right, but for our children. Because when we make things accessible, more accessible, even some that may go into restaurants here in Smithville that's never been introduced to alcohol, that doesn't know what alcohol is. You say, well, all children know what that is. They might know what the name of it is, but it's never been used in their home. They've never been around people that drink it. But they're now, if we pass this, they're going to go into restaurants, and there they're going to serve beer. And they're going to be introduced to it in a young age. And they're going to continue to search out things. You know how young people are. We all were young at one time, still pretty young, but we've got old enough now that we know what's right and what's wrong. I urge you with all of my heart that for the citizens, for our children, for our grandchildren, people in our community, for a better community, we don't need alcohol. We need a lot more love and we need a lot more understanding. I would ask this council, and this controversy that we have about this issue, instead of people that we elected to in our city, that we trust, that we love, that are our neighbors and our friends, when something of this nature comes, of this importance, I would ask that you would put it to the city vote, to a vote for all people of the city to vote on. This is not life or death. We can make it without the tax dollars. We have so far. And if it's voted in, so be it. If it's voted down, so be it. But let your community that's elected you do so. Thank you.
Gentlemen, ladies. My name is Don Davidson. I live at 586 Old Snow Hill Road. It is downtown, but I'm pastor of Real Life Community Church here in Smithville, Tennessee. As pastor of the church, I'm also the official president of the corporation and the chief executive officer of the board of directors for the church. Does that qualify me to be able to speak, sir?
Not by the resolution.
Not by the regular.
Not by the resolution?
You gotta be a property owner. I mean, I know Donnie.
You said business owner as well?
No. Well, business, well, you gotta be a
I am the
property
chief.
owner. I don't think you said business, did you?
Yes.
Business owner.
Business owner.
I just have, I mean, I respect the way you must do business. If I'm allowed to speak, I'm allowed to speak. If I'm not, I'm not.
Business. You don't think?
I don't think he makes a definition.
I'm sorry.
That's all, no, I respect that, thank you.
My name's Bernard Houck. I pastor the First Free Baptist Church here in town. And I live right there at the church. I've owned property in the country and always been a country boy until I took the church 4 years ago. They wanted me to move to the country, and since then I've become refined and dignified, and I'm a city dude. I guess that qualifies me.
You're qualified.
All right. I wish I knew what Brother Davidson wanted to say so I could say it for him. But at any rate, Thursday night is our visitation night for our church. We normally, the kids, young people, come to the church. We meet at 6 o'clock, and then we go to the nursing home, different places, visit those who are sick and shut in. So in just a little bit, we should be out visiting. And when we finish visiting, as a rule, we'll go to McDonald's or somewhere, and I'll buy ice cream, or on some occasions, we'll go to Los Lobos or Peking, and we have supper. And it bothers me really bad to think that I might take them down there as pastor to either one of those restaurants or any other, or Kilgore's or any other restaurant in Smithville, and somebody be drinking a Bud Light at the next table 3 foot away from the kids that I preached to them that they shouldn't drink. Not long ago, there was a lady came to me and wanted to know if they could use our basement for the Alcoholic Anonymous because they'd no longer be able to use the city building up here. And so I said, you know, we talked about that in the board meeting in the church, and our conclusion was that perhaps with the things that we had going on, it might be a conflict. So my point is this: if there's enough effort made to put alcohol in people's lives, then the city ought to do something to try to help those who get hooked on it and who are addicted to it after they're addicted. And they do call alcoholism a disease. I've just done some research on that lately, and if that be true, it's the only disease that's bottled and packaged and sold, and you must have a permit to sell it. And you got to be 18-year-old to buy that disease. And I don't know how old y'all are, but you have to be old as you are, I guess, to vote in so the kids can contract it, and then and it's offensive to me. I don't want to sit in a restaurant and someone drinking beer right next to me and my grandchildren. I don't want to do that. If I do, I drive to Cookville. I drove to Nashville many times and eat and drove back. It's not a big deal. And so the people that are, I heard on the video that I watched it of the last meeting that y'all had on this when you voted in. And the person that made the motion, the one seconded, I voted for him. Grew up with them. And if I could vote again today, I can tell you right now, I would have to reconsider my vote because of the intentions of this motion that is being made and why it's been. The brother said there's something more than tax money here. I think it's property value. Your property is worth more if you can promise somebody that they can sell beer if they buy it. And we're, you know, most of us here are smart enough to figure that out. And I ask you, I adjure you, don't pass this. And you can do it. You can run it right through over us. And it's hard for me to get used to that. In our federal government, we've had it happen to us. But surely our city government's not going to do that. Please don't expose our children to the kind of humiliation that the pastors has to do.
I'm Dave J. White. I live 456 Carter Street, and I come tonight to testimony to turn this down because the people has voted it down 2 times in the last 6 months. And surely that y'all can see that we need to be fighting drugs in place of having more alcohol. we need to put our time in, figuring out how to get rid of drugs and keep our young people off of drugs in place of giving them more alcohol to drink. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody want to speak on support of this ordinance? Ask you line up over here.
I'm very concerned that there is some Phariseeism and some legalism and this type of thing in this decision tonight, or in this presentation from the group that are here. We're all concerned about what goes on in our community. But I think we can strain it out and swallow the camel. And I believe that most of us have no problem with going to Cookville or to Nashville and having dinner in a restaurant, Applebee's, Logan's. There are many places that we're all very comfortable in. And I think it's a shame to make this board that has carefully studied and looking out for the welfare of our community and looking out from the business perspective part of it. I would hope that they would know that there are some of us who are committed Christian, committed to the church, that do not feel that this is shameful. And we're really concerned that you that have represented us so well and have studied the issues and have taken this vote, that you would have to come here tonight and hear these kind of remarks. There are those of us who do not feel this way. And I'm just saying where you're coming from. Thank you.
Nobody else, we close the hearing. Y'all ready to vote? Mr. Henderson, call the roll. Need a motion. Everybody get a motion, okay. I'm getting carried away. I need a motion to adopt this ordinance on the final reading. It's 4:45.
I make a motion.
Danny Warsher makes a motion to adopt this motion on the second reading. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Gayla Henderson. All in favor, say aye. Yeah, let's do a roll call.
Jason Murphy,
Yes.
Tim Striblin,
No.
Gayla Hendricks,
Yes.
Sean Jacobs,
No.
Danny Washer.
Yes. 3 yeses and 2 noes. So we adopt this on the second final reading. Have a motion to adjourn? Motion been made by Gayla to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Danny Washington. Meeting's adjourned.